So this is a new model that nobody has seen or before. We're doing Bronto Burt from Kirby. Like so, unlike all the other models that I would probably be doing later on, where I'll probably just design them all on footage here. This time I already had him designed ahead of time, just because of being at church. But we're gonna go ahead and not dilly-dally. It's good to be back, guys. Let's go ahead and this is usually how I started the design. Is to actually kind of just divide it up into 4x4 like this, sort of. Well, yes, not sort of. Get it just like this. Because the main idea is, I'll show you right here actually, is the wings are going to be somewhere up here. Just like that. But then the feet are actually going to be right here. So it's kind of interesting with what we'll do. I'll just go ahead and fold this in half. Get this here. And then I'll connect from these 2 points is my main idea. It's not the most original crease pattern in the world. I think there might have been similar crease patterns like this, but we will be incorporating a little bit of box pleating. I hope you guys like that. Get it like this. Just like that. Oops. Once we get it like so the middle point here, a lot of it is going to be divided up into, well, I forgot to do the bottom here, but we're actually going to be dividing it up, probably a few more strips like this. So on this other side here where I have, so again, these are the legs. Around here is going to be where the head is going to be. So I'm going to fold like this, then down to this line here. If you're not good at folding, just sit back and enjoy. We definitely show some pretty cool stuff here. Let's see. I don't think you do that there. Just for certain reasons from what I remembered, and I don't think I really will even for a second fold of this. But yeah, we'll get it here, just like that. So then, like so, how we're gonna do this next. So I'll do this, just connect the 2 feet to the lower part of Bronto's, I can't say his name right, to his lower wing, like this. Okay, and that's looking nice there. Okay, so now I say we start collapsing the crease pattern, because there's not really a lot I'm gonna really do here. So do it like this. And I think I'll do this with the wings ahead of time. So this is the box pleating part I was just mentioning. Oh, I should lean forward more. My bad. Let's get it just like this hither. Okay, oh yeah, I see how we can do this right off the bat. Because how much we want to do for Berto's face is, so this will be his forehead, these will be the eyes, These will be, I think, the mouth, and this will be, I think, his lower chin, it looks like. And it should connect with the legs if we do some petal fold there, is what I'm thinking. So that should work. So let me just fold this down like this then. Okay, cool, just like that. And then I'll slightly open up the model. I guess I'm unfolding some parts. And I think I'm gonna fold these, because of the side I'm on, I'm gonna fold these underneath just like this. Okay, I don't need to get too clunky with this, just kind of take my time. Take your time, hurry up. Yours is yours, don't be late. And then, okay, here's our Elias stretches. It was named after the folder Elias. I think he was American, I can't remember. Okay, so that's good there. So we'll get the flaps for his heads, just like that. So that's pretty neat. Okay, so now I'm gonna line up the legs like this here. So we can actually create at least this part for the legs flaps. I'll fold this. To that inside reverse fold. Just to be sure they're gonna be long enough. I'm actually gonna narrow them like this. And then I'll do a spread squash. Just at the bottom like so. Like so, we're looking pretty good there. And these will be hidden at some point. So then I'll do an inside reverse fold underneath. Twice here, actually. Just to get some creases I will use. And I'll do the same thing on the other side before we do this sort of move here. Yeah, we're looking good. And then I'm gonna pull this, connect these two right here. Nice, there we go. That's the leg flap we wanted. But if you don't want it, then perhaps you can, if you're trying to turn this space into a completely different model, which you could totally do that. I recommend it. It'll be interesting. Maybe I should too sometimes. We'll call that for a different, maybe something we'll do for fun some other time. But our focus now is on Bronto Burt. Bronto Burt Simpson. Which, that'll be the only time I'll say that. But there we go. So we'll have the legs here, and this is really good here just because of where we want the bottom part of Bronto Burt's body to be at, like so. And so we'll kind of start forming everything like this. And like so, it'll be good. So I have the head pleated up like this here. Because you don't want to have it folded up down like this, or else the legs are going to be too short. We just want to be we just want to be up like this, where the legs are going to be long enough like so. While I'm at it then, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to sink these parts. Don't get too blurry, camera. It's okay if this doesn't turn out too perfect. I could definitely redo this. I just need a place to start. Just to get back with uploading again after a couple of years here. Okay, maybe not absolutely perfect, but all of that will be hidden though, so I should be pretty good with it. So that's good there. So you can totally see the main ideas with what I want for Bronto Burt here, because we have his 2 parts for his wings here. All the flaps we need for his head, pretty much the same amount as my Origami Kirby, if you ever seen that. And his feet like this. So with that's all together now, let's go ahead and we'll just kind of work our way down with all the details here. Starting with the head. Now, the head is, since Bronto Burt's head is round, pretty much similar like Kirby, we're pretty much just going to do the same thing like the Kirby design pretty much. Although this part, we'll probably do something cool here. I'm actually going to, well, okay. Why am I getting ahead? I think what I want to do actually is to narrow the wings. To get started on that, I'm gonna first, so yeah, so let's first narrow the wings. So I'm kind of bouncing back and forth. But just from approaching like this, I think this is what we'll do. Before we kind of do some stretches I was gonna try and do. But we'll just do an open sink here. And I'm only gonna do it until it hits to this point right here. Same thing on the other side. Once we get that, we'll narrow these other parts of the wings, but I'm gonna be sure that I don't narrow them all the way, because I still want them to be kind of round. So, you know, not like this. Not like this, where it hits to that point, but more like it hits to this point here, and then these tips are just going to fold until they meet right there. But it's all going to come to your preference. But even so, if you get this sort of narrow, if you get this like too narrow, you can still do some detailing techniques just to spread the wings apart, just to make them wider. But now I'm going to do an open sink. And like so, you don't have to exactly fold like me. You might have, especially if you've done this for quite a while, and maybe even done your own models, you might have some familiarities of some different ideas you may have. And I like to do that with some designs here and there, though I rarely fold from folding instructions now, I just do my own stuff. Just because I could do that, especially when out traveling. It's always nice just to not be able to carry an origami booklet all the time, just have all the paper I need with some folding pad, and then I could just fold whatever I desire at the time. So I'll go ahead and do this again on this side, of course, because this is going to be symmetrical. We're not dealing with a origami link situation here. We're just going to be sure we get the open sink successfully. Just be sure that the wing flaps are still the same size before we sync them. So otherwise that might not be super good. But okay. So now with the wings narrowed off like this, let me be sure I have this folded down, and I'm gonna actually pull the top wing here. So you'll notice, because I want to do this move here, but it's obviously not in the right spot here. So I'm gonna pull this top wing flap here, and this is what I was trying to do earlier until I realized, oh, I gotta be sure I narrow the wings. Well, before we pull them, let me be sure I try to fold this up first, like this. Then in here, this is my idea. I'm just gonna pinch this inside here on this one specific line that's gonna connect to this. Might have to play around a little bit here. But it's okay if it's not fully exact, because it'll be pretty hidden with the model. And if you are trying to fold this and you kind of mess up and you feel like you have to start over again, it's okay. You can keep practicing. Eventually you will get better. And of course, I'm always trying to get better too. Okay, same thing on this other side. Just gonna first kind of directly have that flap folded up, and then in here, I'm gonna make trying to do some sort of diamond shape. Although this time, I'm gonna do a better job on this side, because this side was pretty ugly. Which if I want to, I can sort of modify it a little. But as long as I get the wing flap sizes right, then I should be okay. Okay, and that's good. And the wing flaps will still be in the right proportions they need to be in. Especially where the top wing flaps here will be the same. Will be a little bit longer than the bottom ones, actually. Okay, so now I can kind of start to work on parts of the head. And I think before I get into doing those stuff on the forehead, let's create the eyes first. The eyes are pretty fun to do. We'll basically set up an open sync here, pretty much. I could kind of fold it back and forth here, just to make this easier. And then I'll spread squash it, like so. When you do, be sure these flaps are inside reverse folded. And then I'm gonna fold this down. And let's make Bronto Burt kind of angry. So let's at least have these tilted a little bit like that. So it's not gonna be an exact triangle, actually more obtuse shaped. Then I'll kind of round the eyes just a little bit. Not too much. And I'll do these swivel folds underneath just to be sure these are short. And when we get into detailings, I'll push them down like that. Just to get it right, of course. Okay, and then I guess I should do the mouth next. So if you see my Origami Kirby before, this is pretty much going to be very similar to how we did his head, well, his face. Except, yeah, the eyes are much easier to do, which is pretty good, especially for this size of paper. You'll probably be working with bigger paper if you do have professional origami paper. I don't know. And to do his mouth, we'll just kind of have him opened up like this. We don't want to make him happy. We gotta. He's kind of one of the reoccurring enemies in the Kirby series, as far as I know. I definitely played plenty of them here and there. So then I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna pleat this a little bit here. And I'll do a swivel fold on the sides. Yeah, and if he's looking too angry, whatever, you could just kind of tilt the eyes a little bit less. Whatever will look good for you. And then let's go ahead and form his round body, which the way I like to do it is to pull these out like this, to get these right triangles, shape things here. And then inside reverse fold and spread squash right here. Okay, and then if we're going to achieve the same thing on the bottom parts here, we'll have to, you'll basically, I guess I didn't really set this up ahead of time, but you'll pull this up to make that same sort of diamond shape thing on the top here. And I'll basically just, well, do something a little bit like this at the bottom now. So, just like this here. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Basically, just poke in through like this. Oops. This part folded. Okay. So that will be his round head like that. So before we get into giving that 3D shape, I'm going to go ahead and get the wings formed, at least folded out. I think the way I like to, I'll do this. So we'll fold in. Okay, so let me be sure I do this right. So I'm going to fold them down like this first, off to the side like that. And then I'm going to fold them out like this. Not necessarily as far as I can, but just be sure the wings obviously aren't looking too short. And it'll be important that this bottom part of his wing is actually lower, because we don't want to make it look like his other hand. That will not look super good. I'm probably going to inside reverse fold that. This layer here. Yeah, so we want this exact shape just like that. So this part is much lower this time, as you can see. So I'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll just fold it outwards like this first. Or wait, that's not what I did, sorry. I'll fold it in like this. And then pull out the flaps, the wing flaps. I could try and make it look identical to the other side as much as possible. I'll get close. I'm basically arranging this part, just kind of doing some, it's a small detail, but I'm turning this into a swivel fold instead of the usual shape. It's very small to see from here. We'll just get that. He kind of looks like a fairy version of Kirby. So in order to, but eventually we're gonna get the right details in order to do this, because now we're down to my favorite part where we could truly get the formation right. So I'm gonna first round the wings, and the way I'll do them is to do basically almost an inside reverse fold, but have this layer fold it off like this, so this part isn't gonna stick out. And then I'll just round the tip as much as I want to, along with the other tips I see. Rinse and repeat. Just right there. Do the same thing on these other ones too. On his lower part. It's the same old story. I'm probably going to fold this layer because it's kind of sticking out a little bit. I'll fold it behind like that so it doesn't try to pop out. Then do the same thing on this side. And then I'm going to be sure that's folded down like this. Okay. I'll narrow the legs a little bit by folding behind, and again, the same old techniques here. I'm nice and going here. Okay, and then the fun part of the details, and this is again very similar to Origami Kirby. Just kind of pull this up a little bit like this, so you'll kind of notice from in here. I'm gonna do a crimp, probably do it kind of about almost to that line. Then I'm gonna fold this part behind like this. This bottom part I don't really need to pull. I just gotta do the crimp and then just fold this underneath to be sure it doesn't make the body part too low. Gonna round these. Okay, and then what I like to do to get the shaping right for Berto is to kind of almost fold him like this, but not quickly, but not entirely flatten him. If the wings are folded a little bit inwards like this, they'll look a little bit better. Folding them out a little bit will kind of make them look like arms, which I don't really want. Sometimes that's kind of my problem. I'll maybe crimp the legs out only a little bit just so they can spread apart a little. If I feel like parts of the body or head are too big, then I could totally continue to play around with that. Just kind of just all in my little world of how much I want to do here. Probably gonna crimp this up a little bit higher, actually. Guess I'm gonna fold these down a little. Yeah. I might crimp this down a little bit further, the wings. That's usually the solution to get the proportions look better. And maybe I can make this one a little bit different because sometimes you see him just standing like this. I'm gonna make him stand like this, like so, which isn't too hard. And okay, I think we'll go with this for now. So that is Bronto Burt's like so. Come on, let's get the. There we go. Just like that. Absolutely not perfect, especially if I don't want to make this too long. But there we go, guys. There we go.